Hello, good evening, everybody. Just to confirm that I'm audible and you can all hear me. If you can hear me, just type in a yes in the chat so I know that. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Bright. So we're expecting a lot more people to join us. So let's see how much we can do before we have more people join eventually. But we'll start because I'm not going to keep you waiting. So we'll start and then we'll have others join us along the line. Okay. So let's get right into the main meat of our session today. But just before we get into our session, I'd like to know where you're joining us from. Okay, so just type that in the chat. Where are you joining us from? Are you joining from Lagos, Nigeria, from Italy? Bright is in Italy. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so just type in the chat. Port Harcourt, God Gifts is joining us from Port Harcourt. Kenya, Lagos, Nigeria. Absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay. Now that's the power of having virtual learning. You have the opportunity to learn and collaborate with top-notch contemporaries from across the globe. Welcome to the session, Obioma. So let's get started. All right. Now, why are we here today? Today's session is centered around understanding what it takes to become a business analyst. Who is a business analyst? What does a business analyst do in an organization? So we're going to try to demystify the role of the business analyst and how you can also secure a job as a business analyst, or why should you even become a business analyst? Okay, so we'll take all of this and I want our session to be as interactive as possible. And then towards the end of the session, I'll take questions and answers and then we call it a day. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, share my slides, and so we can kick it right off. It's a Friday evening. Our session would last for an hour and a half, 1 hour for me to talk through all the things you need to know as a business analyst. For those trying to get into business analysis, or you've always tried, you have probably written exams, you've done so many certifications, but you cannot get a job. Okay, so I'll be speaking on how you can break and crack that code, and then we'll have sessions and answers for 30 minutes. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, just to be sure that you can all see my screen, just type in a yes if you can see my slide, so I know that we are good to go. Just type in a yes if you can. Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, our conversation today is on how to secure your first job as a business analyst in 2024. 2023 is far gone. We have just a few days, about 15 days to the end of the year, 2023. So how do you go into the new year with the right type of strategies and also positioning yourself for the opportunities that lie ahead? And that's what I'll be showing you how to do today. All right. So how do you become a business analyst in the year 2024? So let's dive into it. Of course, who are we? Who is Tenalytics? What do we do? What are we all about? All right. Tenalytics is an educational technology company, and our focus is on helping Africans, people of the Black community across the globe and also in the diaspora to transition into tech. And we do this by lowering the entry barrier into tech by providing you with top-notch premium training programs across different areas. We serve as your learning partner and not just your typical training provider. So we partner with you and work with you to help you make that transition into tech across different areas, from data analytics to cybersecurity to data engineering to business analysis and so many areas. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is on the quality of the facilitators that we bring to bear. Okay, so we're going to dive into our session and you'll see the amazing stuff we have in stock for you. But just to also introduce myself, for those that don't know or you haven't joined our masterclass before, you're joining us for the very first time. My name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a data analytics expert and I'm also the founder of Tenalytics. I've worked across different regions from the US to the UK, working as a data science consultant, and I have close to a decade years of experience in the tech ecosystem. Started my career as a management consultant, but then I switched into data analytics along the line, right? I'm just going to mute everybody. I've worked in 5 different sectors, from energy to financial services to educational technology, automobile, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm based in the UK, and my last sector was in automobile. I've trained well over 8,500 people, well over 8,500 people along across my journey as a professional. And I would like you to connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, and let's all connect together and have an amazing, amazing relationship. Okay, but why are we here today? Now, when I was transitioning into tech myself over 10 years ago, I faced a lot of stumbling blocks. All right, all the odds were stacked against me. And I'm sure so many of you have been, or you are currently in that same situation where you're trying to learn things on your own, you're trying to figure it out. You really don't have a mentor, you don't have somebody to say, do this, don't do this. All right, this is the right track for you to take. These are the different tools that you need to learn. I had no focus. Okay, I was learning everything I could, and I learned a lot of irrelevancies. All right, I didn't know who to ask. I was just learning, and eventually it took me over 2 years to make the transition. I've made mistakes as a professional and also during my journey transitioning into tech. So I said, look, myself and Efemena, the co-founder, we decided that people don't need to face the same problem. You don't need to learn endlessly on YouTube, learn endlessly on different platforms without having that clear career path, that clear, transition into the tech ecosystem. And that was the foundation of Tenalytics and the reason why we found Tenalytics, to help so many more people make the transition a lot more seamlessly. All right. And that's just a brief intro about what I do. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people transition. Today, we're going to look at a business analyst case scenario, because a lot of people mix up business analysis and data analytics. What does a business analyst do? Who is a business analyst? So we're going to look at a case scenario together. And in talking through the case, you start to understand the role of a business analyst, okay? Secondly, I'll talk about the skills you need to learn to become a business analyst and how to land your first job, all right? What are the things you need to focus on? Do you need to focus on certificates? Do you need to focus on skills? Do you need to focus on soft skills? What exactly do you need to do, all right? And I'll talk about our upcoming business analysis cohorts starting January 6th, 2024. And also, we have some super special discounts available for everybody on the call, okay? And before we wrap up, I'll be sharing that discount with all of you, all right? So keep the chat buzzing, make notes, ensure that you don't have any distractions around you so we can have an interaction, Q&A towards the end of our session today, all right? Now, why would you choose a career in business analysis? For us at Tenalytics, we don't just offer programs that we think needs to be offered. There is a method towards the selection, all right? And one of the things we look at in selecting the programs we offer is the ease of learning, okay? Number 2 is the ease of transitioning and getting a job. We're not going to train people on skills that will take you years to learn, number 1. And secondly, you have to compete with so many other people to get a job. Getting a job is so difficult, all right? So we looked at these career paths and we decided to say, look, we're going to select these different career paths that we feel that people can easily transition into because the demand is there, okay? And some of the things we looked at across 2 major economies, and I'm going to speak about the 2. The first one is the UK, and I'll talk about Canada as well. And of course, very familiar with both markets, myself as an individual, the UK market, the Canada market. And for those in the UK, or if you're not in the UK, you are in Nigeria, you are across Africa, somewhere, jobs across different job roles, or I would say jobs across different career paths are higher in demand than other jobs. So if you decide to want to transition, you need to know why. Do I want to transition because everybody else is talking about business analysis? Somebody's saying no audio. All right. So Lydia, please confirm that you can hear me. Okay. Ubong, you can also confirm that I'm audible, loud and clear. Thank you very much. God is good. Loud and clear. Fantastic. All right. So for those that have audio issues, Ubong, you might want to help them out. Tell them what to do to get that sorted. Okay. Now, I was talking about career paths that are more in demand, higher in demand than other career paths. Okay. And that was one of the first things I did when I was transitioning close to a decade ago into data analytics. The question I asked was, would I have a career in the next 10 years? If I decide to move into data analytics, become a data analyst in the next 10 years, will I still remain relevant? That was a question I asked. And I did a lot of research, which I always advise people to do as well. Research, search online, check different future of work reports, look at shortage occupation lists. So today we are looking at two lists, one from the UK and one from Canada. The shortage occupation list, SOL. All right, shortage occupation list. Now, when there is a shortage, it means that demand is very, very high. Okay, demand for these career paths or for these job roles is very high. So look, I took a snippet of the UK shortage occupation list, but I've also kept the link for you to access and take your time to look at all the different career paths that falls within that list. So any career path within the list simply means that that career path is in high demand. If you have the skill, you position yourself properly, you get a job because the jobs are waiting for you, okay? And I want us to take a note of the code 2135. Very, very important. For anybody in the UK, 2135 is an absolutely important code. And that's where you see the IT business analysts, the business architects, the system designers, and so on and so forth. So across the UK, from England to Scotland to Wales and Northern Ireland, this particular job code is in high demand. So if you're a business analyst, the chances of you getting a job easily becomes very high. And these are the things you need to look at when transitioning. You are in the UK for your master's. Everybody shouts care. Now they're clamping down on people within the care industry. Okay. And somebody was here yesterday for those that joined our data analytics program, a fantastic gentleman. His name is Biola in the UK. He joined our data analytics program in September and he's gotten a job. He's gotten a job in the UK as a data analyst. He started out in care. And one of the things as a care worker, and one of the things we always advise is you can start out as a care worker, no problem, because you want to earn some money to take care of yourself. That's fine. But that is a temporary job. You have to see it that way. How do you then transition from that? How do you do that as a survival job and then get into a career path where you can see a progression over time? You can work from home, you have good career satisfaction, and you are good, all right? So business analysis falls into that category, and it's on the shortage occupation list in the UK, all right? And like I said, I've kept the link here. All you have to do is access the link, and you'd see all the other career paths that falls within the same category. So if I click on that, it takes me to the link to the UK government website. The gov.uk, and of course you'll see the skilled worker visa shortage occupation, and this updates, it was last updated on the 7th of August this year, and if you scroll all the way down, you'll see the 2135, okay, 2135, IT business analyst, business architect, and so on and so forth, all right? Very, very important. Yes. Miss Garga is on the call. Abigail Garga, if I can remember correctly. Abigail Garga. Abigail also joined our business analysis program. She started as a care worker, and I have so many friends that started that way. But Abigail got a job, and she'll be here to share her story with you shortly. Okay, so Abigail, just hang in there. Everybody would love to hear from you before we wrap up today. Okay, Abigail would love to speak with you. People are saying my audio is breaking. Please confirm that is my audio breaking? Am I loud and clear? Am I audible enough? Please let me know. Loud and clear. Okay. So I'm audible. Fantastic. All right. I'm a bit concerned because, of course, I left the UK on Monday. I came into Nigeria. So, but I think I'm using a very good network. So that's why I'm a bit concerned when people say they can't hear me. But if you say I'm loud and clear, that's fantastic. All right. So let's keep on going. Okay. So now looking at Canada as well. Okay. You want to look for those jobs with the NOC code that you can use to apply for the express entry, meaning that these jobs fall into the category of jobs that are in demand, that are required in Canada. You're moving to Canada. You want to get these skills that will position you in a way that employers see the need to hire you in the organization, all right? And if you look at the code 21221, all right? These are codes you should not forget for those who are either in the UK, in Canada, or anywhere across the globe. You want to know that my career path is in high demand. And when you learn a skill like this, it's a global skill. It's not specific to a particular location. You can get a job anywhere across the globe. And that's the objective at the end of the day. So you'd see that 21221 says business system specialist. But anybody that sees this would not know that business analyst falls into this category. Okay, business analyst falls into this category. So that's why I've kept the link to the list over here. And I've also shown you how to check to find all the jobs that fall within this category or fall under this category. Okay, so if we're going to search for this code, and we'll use the second link to search for the code very quickly. And when we do things like this, it's always very important that we are strategic in what we do, so that when you apply to jobs, you're not applying by just doing things anyhow. You're applying in a strategic manner that will give you the best possible outcomes at the end of the day. Okay, so once you click on the link, it takes you to the Canadian government's NOC website, where you can confirm the NOC codes. And all I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to type that code 21221. All right, I'm just simply going to type that code or enter the job title. Okay, so let's search for the code, not the job title. So I'm going to click on search by NOC code and I'll type 21221. Okay, so I see the business system specialist. I click on that and then I click on search. Okay, I click on that and then I click on search. So let's wait. So it gives you the results and you'd see the examples of the job titles that falls under this code 21221. You'd see the business systems analyst, business system consultant, information systems business analyst, and the IT business analyst. The IT business analyst. All right, the IT business analyst. And that's the reason why we are here today. All right, and Abigail is also here with us to shed some light into how she was also able to get a job, moving from care into a business analyst after joining our business analysis program. And I remember Abigail very, very well because Abigail was always very, she participated in every single activity. She always asked questions during the mentorship session, and she was always willing to learn. So you'd hear from Abigail herself when she comes in to also share her story. Absolutely. Abigail is smiling. All right, let's move on. So who is a business analyst? That's the question. A lot of people get this wrong. A business analyst is a bridge. You are the middleman between the business and the technology team. You are the middleman between the business and the technology team. Okay, now what does that mean? Every organization wants to get better. Every organization wants to become more efficient. Every organization wants to grow, make money, increase revenue, reduce losses, and so on and so forth. Now, in becoming more efficient, It means we need to deploy some systems, application, software to help us get things done. All right? Being efficient means that you're able to do things a lot faster, which means you save time and you could also reduce losses. So a business analyst is that person that comes in to ensure that the systems, the applications, the software, every tool that is required to ensure that the business is more efficient is put in place. So the business analyst understands the business, the processes, the different departments, the business objectives, the business strategy, what the business wants to achieve. The business analyst is aware, all right? The business analyst also knows what type of tool or application that is required to help the business get there. So in that regard, the business analyst then serves as a bridge. This is the business and this is the technology team. I'm going to communicate the objectives, communicate the requirements of the business to the technology team so they can build those applications or they can acquire the applications that we need to become more efficient. And that's the role of the business analyst. So the business analyst serves as a bridge between the stakeholders and the technology team. That's number one. Number two, another fundamental characteristics or fundamental requirement or objective of the business analyst involves change. Organizations would change. They would implement so many things, all right? This is towards the end of the year. From November, some companies from October, they start having their strategy retreats for the next year, okay? Strategy retreat for the next year. So what are we going to implement? What do we need to change? So change would happen every time. So that business analyst is a change enabler, ensures that whatever change that happens stays and sticks with the company. Everybody understands the change and they also understand what is in it for them so that they accept the change. So a business analyst is a change enabler in an organization. You facilitate change and ensure that the changes drive efficiency, improves the organization's effectiveness as well. All right. And by doing all of this, it means that the business analyst is knowledgeable. You understand the business, you understand their processes. So that business analyst understands the business in order to proffer those solutions and also suggest ways to optimize efficiency. All right. And last but not the least, the business analyst can also work across various industries and could be involved in so many things because you would be implementing and also managing projects that would lead to efficiency and effectiveness. You will be involved in strategy. You'd be involved in budgeting. You need to know where the business is going and what the business wants to achieve. And these are the responsibilities of the business analyst. Okay? The business analyst is the bridge between the business and the technology team, a change enabler. The business analyst also has depth when it comes to knowledge of the business. And lastly, the business analyst gets involved in so many different areas within the business itself in order to get a more comprehensive, robust understanding of where the business is headed and the direction of the organization. Okay, so we're going to look at a case scenario and would see how the business analyst can come in and solve this problem. All right, it's a simple problem involving customer satisfaction. Okay, so many organizations would face this challenge. How does a business analyst come in to solve the problem? So we start to understand the role of the business analyst in an organization, all right? And this particular case scenario involves a technology company called Techware Solutions. Techware is one of the leading online software company, all right? They do what? They develop productivity tools for businesses, different productivity tools, like your Zoom, for example. They develop tools like that, all right? Now, their tools and their applications are highly sought after and highly acclaimed in terms of the features, the functionalities, and so on and so forth. However, they fall short in one major area, which is customer support response time. So that's the area where the company has a problem. Now, a lot of their customers complain and are frustrated that they don't get, prompt response from the customer support team. So there's always a delay in responding to customer complaints and customer requests. Now, because of this, customers are now dissatisfied. And even in some cases, they cancel their subscription. So imagine being frustrated, by Zoom. You're trying to reach out to the customer support. You can't get across to them. And eventually you just stop and cancel your subscription and you go for another, alternative. So this is what was happening to Techware. Now, and due to the prolonged, of course, long response time, Techware started to face customer dissatisfaction, and it had a negative impact on their reputation. Everybody knew them as somewhere you just go to, waste time talking to customer support, which is not a very good reputation to have. Okay, now this is a problem the organization is facing. And this is where the business analyst comes in. There is something wrong somewhere. And remember when I mentioned that one of the major responsibilities of the business analyst is to optimize processes, to improve efficiency. So there is something causing these delays. There are reasons why customer support is not responding in very good time to customer requests. So the business analyst, first of all, defines the problem. So there's a problem. So there must be a problem statement and also understand the objectives. What are we trying to solve? Okay. So of course, due to the prolonged response time in customer support, Techware Solution is facing dissatisfaction, potential subscription cancellations, and also negative impact on their reputation. So there's a prolonged response time to customers. Okay. Now, what does the business analyst want to do in this particular scenario? First of all, they need to assess the current customer support process. So when a customer sends in a request or sends in a question or sends in a complaint, how does it come into the company, through what channel, and how does it move through all the different steps until that particular complaint is resolved? So the business analyst would assess the current process, number one. Secondly, after assessing the process, you would see where the problems are, where the bottlenecks are, and then suggest improvements for that process to optimize the process. And of course, in doing that, what happens? This would enhance customer satisfaction and also reduce the subscription cancellations. Okay, so these are the three key objectives, the three key areas the business analyst wants to focus on. So it's like going into a project, you know what you're trying to address, and you walk your way to addressing those problems. These are the three objectives. Assess the current process, look for the bottlenecks, suggest or determine the different strategies to put in place to optimize the process. And by doing this, enhancing customer satisfaction and reducing cancellations. Now, in looking at the first objective, the business analyst now decides to do what? Assess the current process and carry out something called a gap analysis. So gap analysis simply means we are here and we want to get somewhere. What are the things we need to put in place to help us get to that future? This is where we are today. How can we get to the future? What are the things we need to put in between the gap to help us get to that future easily? All right. So the current state shows that The ticketing system is manual. Okay, customers send in requests, maybe via email. There is no automated tool that takes those questions, assigns to the right people who would answer those questions, and so on. Response allocation is also manual. So it's a scenario whereby somebody sends a question, it comes to Adeza. Adeza then calls Abigail. Oh, Abigail, I want you to handle this. So it's very manual. And by doing this, what happens? Resolution is difficult to follow up and track. Has this problem been resolved? It means I have to start making phone calls, asking questions. No automation to help resolve this problem. Okay? Now, the business analyst will then look at the future state. How do we start to address these problems? If these things are manual, we can't track anything. We cannot optimize. We are still going to have these problems of delayed response. So let's implement automated responses for common queries. So there are queries that customers would always ask. Can we implement automated responses for these common queries? Can we also optimize the ticketing system in a way that it is automated? So when a message comes in through email, it is assigned to the next available customer support associate who gets to work on that task. All right. And this would help with team workload distribution. So this is not me calling Abigail to say, Abigail, handle this. There is a system that assigns the workload based on the availability of the different customer support associates. And the tool that would help us get here is a CRM. And a CRM is simply a customer relationship management tool. Relationship management tool. Okay, that's the CRM. So all the business analyst has done is, oh, this is the current state, and this is what we need to have. All right. And the gap to help us get there is we just simply need to implement what? A CRM. If we have a customer relationship management tool, we will be able to automate the entire process. If somebody calls us, it comes in through the CRM. If they send an email, it comes to the CRM. So everything is in a single location, and it's easy to track what is outstanding, what has not been done, and why it is taking long to get done. So this is the first thing the business analyst would do. And looking at it step by step, conducting the current state analysis. And this is also called the as-is process. As-is meaning that this is what it is today. What does the process look like today? And business analysts would do this a lot of times. You get into an organization, you want to know the current process. Because if you don't know the current process, it will be difficult for you to optimize, make it faster. If it is slower, what is causing, what is that bottleneck? Is there a manual process that can be optimized to make it faster, and so on and so forth, okay? So you use a particular skill called process mapping, all right? And you can do your process mapping with Draw.io, Microsoft Visio, Lucid Charts, and so many other diagramming tools that can help you create your process map from where the process starts to where the process ends. And you identify the current state as is. Okay, so that's step one. And that's what I showed you over here, the current state, done using the process mapping. Okay, this is what it is today, but we need to get it to where we want it to be. So that's step one. Step two, you then have to collaborate with stakeholders. Now, for you to optimize the customer support process, remember, you're not one of the customer support team member. You are just a business analyst who has understanding of the business. Okay, so you need to engage with them. You need to engage with the customer support team. You need to engage with IT to find out, okay, what are the ways we can, what are the different ways, what's the current infrastructure that we have within the organization that can help us implement this particular type of solution, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you have the customer support team, you have the IT, and you have different other key stakeholders that you would bring together, have meetings, have sessions, gather requirements from them. Based on your current job as a customer support associate, What are the things you feel can be implemented to make your job faster, to make your job more efficient? All right. So you elicit information and you record those requirements you've gathered from those key stakeholders for improvements. Okay, so that's the second step. And you can do this using different tools. You can collaborate with different stakeholders using Slack. You can use Microsoft Teams or use Zoom, just like we are using today. Have meetings, have conversations, and document those conversations to help improve the process. Okay, that's the second step after identifying the current process. Now, going to the third step, you also need to collect customer feedback. Remember, the customers have said there is a delay, but what exactly, at what particular point do you have this delay? Are they saying a particular, is there something they are saying that is general, that is generic across all the customers? You want to get customer feedback, all right? So you would implement or you deploy different survey instruments that would help you gather feedback from customers. You can have meetings with them. You can have sessions with them. You can deploy, you can have, group sessions. You can have deploy different survey instruments to help you gather different feedback from your customers. And also remember, you're trying to build a solution. So you also want to hear from the customers. What do they think would help them have a better experience? What features do they need to have? And this is where you generate your user stories. So your user stories are simply those requirements from the customer. So imagine you have a website and the customer comes to you and tells you that if you put a filter button at the top right corner, I think that would be very good for us as customers. Or if you change this color to a particular color, or if you include a particular bar, all these things coming from the customers would help make the experience a lot better. And that's how you generate your user stories. So you need to collect feedback from your customers in the form of instruments like Google Forms, SurveyMonkey, and several other survey instruments that you can deploy to get feedback. Once you've generated your user stories and documented, and you've also gathered feedback from customers, you need to analyze the data you've gathered from them. Okay, you need to analyze the data that you have gathered for them. Now, when you're analyzing the data collected, this particular instance is not compulsory that you do it yourself as a business analyst. And I'm going to say that and explain. A business analyst's responsibility or core responsibility is not data analysis. But the modern business analyst is required to have knowledge in data analytics. And that's why you'd see a analytics curriculum that includes Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Because when you have data, yes, you can assign that particular task to a data analyst to analyze the data. But then remember that you are more relevant when you as a business analyst can also analyze data in an organization. Okay, so collecting feedback, generating user stories, analyzing the feedback from customers, you're going to use tools like Google Form, Otter AI, where it records and transcribes meetings and sessions like this. Okay, and your user stories will be part of your agile ceremonies. Okay, your sprint planning and so on and so forth. So you use Otter AI, Fireflies, and Microsoft Power BI for your analysis. So you've gathered this data from customers. How do you analyze? You can analyze using Excel, you can analyze using Power BI and SQL. So that's step 3. Once you've done this, you move to step 4. Remember, you've spoken to the customer support team, you've gathered requirements, you've documented them, you've spoken to IT, you've gathered requirements, you've documented, spoken to your customers, you've generated your user stories, you have that documented as well. It's time to implement and design the solution. Okay, so you design and manage these projects using a framework called the SDLC, the Software Development Lifecycle. I'm going to type that into the chat. Software Development Life Cycle. Okay, that's the SDLC. So the SDLC is simply a framework where you plan a project that you want to build. You plan a software, a tool that you want to build. You're not building it yourself, definitely. You either have a software developer, the technology team is building, but you're managing the project using this framework. From planning to designing, to building, to testing, to implementation, and also maintenance. You're following that process of building the software. And that's a key framework that every business analyst should also understand. All right? A software has its own life cycle. And how do I manage a project whereby I have developers who are building software? And that's something the business analyst would also do. You've gathered requirements. You're going to analyze the requirements. You have your functional requirements, your non-functional requirements. You design, work with the different vendors that you think can help you deliver that particular solution. And this is where you decide, do we buy off the shelf or do we build our own CRM tool? Okay. If you implement, of course, after building, you deploy the CRM, looking at the different infrastructure you have currently within the organization. You test, you deploy, and then maintain, following the framework of the software development lifecycle. And one of the tools you use to manage projects as a business analyst is Jira. So Jira is a fantastic tool to track project deliverables, ensuring that every single requirement for a particular project are all delivered at the end of the project. All right, going into the fifth step, once you have deployed, you then have to educate the customer support team. And this is where a lot of companies get it wrong when they don't have business analysts to help manage projects like this. All right. The customer support team also has to be carried along, and that's why they form a key part of the stakeholders. All right, Treasure, you raised your hand. I don't know if you want to say something. I saw your hand raised. Please just type in the chat if you have a question for me. Okay. All right. So they need to know what is in it for them. I'm doing this because it's going to help my work. It's going to make my work easier. It would help me become more efficient. I can do more and I can also get more as well. All right. And that's where the training comes in. So you have to train the customer support team as your key stakeholder, which would have carried them along in building the solution in the first place. And this is a change. Remember, we said the business analyst is also a change agent, a change enabler. So this is a new implementation in the organization. How do you ensure that this change is sustained and the change is also kept? All right. And you also educate the customers. You're not building it for yourself. You are building it for the customers to manage them better. So they need to know that you have a system for them to make things easier and to make things better. So you also have to educate your customers. All right. Very, very important. And lastly, the final step is continuous improvement and iterations. Change is the only constant thing, especially in a very dynamic business world. All right. You keep on having ongoing conversations with stakeholders based on what? Feedback and the changing business needs. So either the business is growing bigger, you used to have clients in only one region in the UK. Now your clients are in the UK, they are in France, and you have clients in Africa as well. So this means you need to either iterate your system, add more features, make it more robust. So you keep on improving and iterating. And this is also a key aspect of the business analyst role. All right. So there's always ongoing refinements. There's always ongoing stakeholder engagement to ensure that any solution implemented meets the objectives and keeps on improving. all right? And of course, you're going to gather data for you to analyze to see where the improvements needs to be made. You'd use tools like SQL, structured query language, where the data will be stored in a database. You need to know how to use Excel for your analysis, and of course, Power BI as well. The modern business analyst must have a flair of data analytics. You can't run away from it, okay? And when you close out on every project, you must document the process. The process must be clearly documented. What were the challenges faced? All right. What were your lessons learned, so that similar projects in the future can learn from every single thing you have documented for this particular project. Of course, you'd conduct final meetings, summarize the project achievements and any next steps, if any. And this is a typical day of the business analyst life. Managing a project that involves optimizing or improving the customer satisfaction by implementing a CRM. And we just walk through it step by step. Okay. Now, each step has its own set of skills for you to carry out a process mapping. For you to map out a process, you need to understand certain type of skill and also the ability to use certain tools. And of course, I'll take you to how you can become a business analyst. What are these key skills and the tools you need to learn to become a business analyst? And I think maybe after we do this and the next 10 minutes, I would call upon Abigail to speak to you, to share her story of how she was also able to transition. Okay. Now, as a business analyst, we've talked about the role of the business analyst, and what the business analyst does simply acts as a bridge, ensuring that there is effective communication between the business and the technology team in building solutions, making the business more efficient and also more effective. All right. Now, in doing this, the business analyst commands some of the highest salaries across the globe. 52,500 per annum in the UK on the average, 74,400 in Canada, and over 85,000 in the US. And what are the tools or skills that you need to become a business analyst? I talked about the data analytics flair. As a business analyst today, you do yourself a whole lot of good by understanding Excel, Power BI, and SQL to help you analyze data, manage data, extract insights from data to take data-driven decisions. All right. So when you gather those customers' feedback using different instruments, you can analyze the data yourself. You can use Excel, you can use Power BI, you can store your data in a database by writing or creating tables in that database with your understanding of structured query language. All right. You also need to know how to map out processes, process mapping. How does this process start and how does it end from the beginning? So you can then see where the bottlenecks are, where the pain points are, and how to address those bottlenecks by implementing different strategies. Project initiation planning. As a business analyst, you would also work on so many projects. And I always tell people this, the business analyst role comprises of three key areas. Number one is the data analytics. Because as a business analyst, you must understand data analytics skills. So that's number one. Number two is project management. Project management. So as a business analyst, you are also managing projects. You must know how to start a project. Who are the key stakeholders? Stakeholder analysis. How do I get the right type of people on this project? 40% of projects fail in every organization simply because there is no proper project management. And that's where the business analyst comes in. So project initiation planning, using different methodologies, Agile and Scrum for projects, holding your different Agile ceremonies, sprint planning, Scrum for projects, and so on and so forth. All right. Also, the software development lifecycle. We talked about this, understanding how you plan for a software, you design the software, build the software, test it, deploy, and maintain. Okay, understanding that in managing a software-related project, a business analyst also needs this. And the last part of the business analyst phase is the core business analysis. So I've talked about data analytics, I've talked about project management. Phase number 3 is the core business analysis, okay? And this is where you gather requirements gathering. You elicit, sit down with different stakeholders, have meetings with them, organize workshops, organize case study groups, and you extract information, extract requirements from all these different stakeholders and create a document called a business requirement document, BRD, that contains all the requirements needed in order to make that project a success. Okay, you'd also know how to engage your stakeholders, because as a business analyst who forms the bridge between two key aspects of the business, you must know how to communicate and engage. What different ways would I have to engage with this particular stakeholder? This is a difficult stakeholder. He or she doesn't like to jump on Teams meeting because they find Teams very complex. So I'd rather use Zoom, that is easier, or I'll simply just do a WhatsApp call. How do you engage stakeholders? How do you manage stakeholders? How do you even know the right type of stakeholders to involve on a particular task or on a particular project? And of course, you can't learn without understanding how to use ChatGPT today. ChatGPT is one of the tools you must know how to use in this particular generation. You can't escape it. It's one of the generative AI tools, and understanding how to use ChatGPT for your analytics, for your business analysis, makes you a lot more efficient. It eases off the pressure on you. You want to develop or design a template to help you gather requirements. You want to carry out document analysis. ChatGPT can do a lot of these things for you. All right. So you're also going to learn ChatGPT for analytics. And these are the tools you learn. You learn Excel, you learn SQL, you learn Power BI, you learn Lucidchart, Draw.io for diagramming, Confluence, Jira, Trello, ChatGPT, and so on and so forth. And these are the key skills and the key tools you need as a business analyst to succeed. All right. How long does it take for you to become a business analyst? Now, we've made some modifications to the curriculum. So Abigail, who'll be coming up to speak, Abigail Garga, spent 3 months, okay? And going into 2024, we are changing the business analyst program from 3 months to 4 months, all right? And I'll tell you why we added 1 additional month to make it 4. So the time you spend in class learning remains the same. So 2 months in class, working with your facilitator, learning different business analysis concepts remains 2 months. But the internship would be increased from 1 month to 2 months. So instead of having the typical 1 month internship, you now have 2 months. Okay, and this is simply because you would work on a project that involves a web application development. So yourself and a group of other team members and a group of Scrum Masters, a group of data analysts, a group of software developers would work on these projects. You as the business analyst would come up with the project plan. You'd be the project managers and you'd build a web application. So it's a real life work project. So rather than having this for 2 months, because it's very robust, rather than having it for 1 month, rather you'd have it for 2 months. So that's why the BA program is now 4 months, 1 month, 2 months learning in class, and 2 months internship. So this gives you a robust learning experience, and you get to build amazing projects. Now, when you get into an interview, you're going to be speaking from the point of you've done it before. I have project managed a solution, which was a web application. This was how we worked from the beginning till the end of that project. okay? And of course, as a business analyst, a lot of people always think that once I'm done learning, I can only apply to business analyst jobs, but that's not the case. As a business analyst, you can apply to roles as a business data analyst. That's one that is becoming very popular. Business data analyst. And guess what? Your Excel, your Power BI, your SQL becomes very, very relevant in this regard when you apply to a role like this. And let me give you an example of how this worked. And I've given this example on Saturday last week. I gave it yesterday, and I'm going to give it today again. A gentleman out of work since February in the UK joined our program, and he got a job about 2 weeks ago working in the energy sector. Now, what is interesting about his story? This gentleman had always worked as a business analyst, okay? But a business analyst with zero data analytics, zero. If you gave him Excel, he would ask you, what is this? He had no idea what Excel was all about. So when he came to us and said, look, I want to join your program, your business analysis program. I want to improve my skills and see if I can get a job because I'm struggling to get a job. I've been applying for the last 5 months and I can't get a job. So I said, let me see your CV. All right. I looked through his CV. I saw that there was nothing data analytics, number one. And there were so many other things we addressed. Okay. But let's just focus on the data analytics alone. Now, one of the major strategies we implemented for him was learn Excel, learn Power BI, learn SQL. So build your data analytics portfolio, all right, and work on projects to build your portfolio. So when you're applying to jobs, you can apply to data analytics role, you can apply to business analyst role. So that gives you a wider variety of jobs to apply to. Guess what? His job title today is a business data analyst job title. So he's working in a role where he's using Excel that he has never used in his career. He has about 15 years of experience. He's working with Power BI. He's currently on a project that involves data migration. All right. And that's the power of understanding how to position yourself for the job market. Okay. So you can apply to so many different roles. I'm just going to take out all this scribbled on the screen. You can apply to role as a business systems analyst, IT business analyst, business process analyst, change management analyst, and so many other roles. Okay. And of course, people struggle to get jobs because of so many reasons, but I'm going to highlight three key reasons why people struggle. And at exactly 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., I'll bring in Abigail. That's in 3 minutes. I'll bring in Abigail to share her story with you at exactly 9 p.m. All right, that's in 3 minutes time. One of the reasons why people struggle to get a job or land a job as a business analyst is simply because they have not learned the practical ways of using the skill. All right, you've learned by either watching videos, you've not been able to engage, you've not been able to put your skills into practice. So there's no structured learning that has happened. That's one of the major reasons. Secondly, no proof of work. What have you done? Do you have any projects? Yes, you've put data analytics, Excel, and all of that on your CV. Can I see the work you've done? During your interview, if I ask you, tell me how you have used data to solve a problem, can you tell me of any project you've worked on? If I ask you questions like, tell me about a time you have optimized a process, indicating the tool you deployed in creating your process map. Can you walk me through a project? If you don't have that, you cannot get a job. And that will become very difficult for you to transition. And lastly, no work experience on your CV and no interviewing skills. One thing I can say for Abigail, I always saw Abigail during the mentorship sessions. She was always there. And when it came to interviewing, Abigail would ask questions. Oh, when this question comes in like this, what do I do? If I have this role on my CV, how should I put it? How should it look like? She always asks those questions. And it's very important because now you've always worked as maybe you've always worked in strategy, or you've always worked in business development, or you've worked in logistics. You've not worked as a business analyst. So what happens to your previous years of experience? Okay. When you get into an interview, how do you answer questions? How do you preempt the questions you're likely going to ask? People fall short in this particular aspect, and that's why they never get the job. Okay. So Abigail is going to come in to talk to us a bit about her experience, and then I'll wrap up by showing you why Tenalytics offers something totally different from what you've always known and what you've always learned, and how you can get value for learning and partnering with Tenalytics to become a business analyst across the globe. And I'll share some success stories where we have helped numerous people to make that transition. But let's listen to Abigail first of all. Let's hear what Abigail has to say and how Abigail herself has been able to transition. So Abigail, if you're on the call, yes, you are here. If you can put on your camera so we can see you, I can just spotlight you. I'm sure a lot of people would want to hear from you, Abigail. Okay.
I'm putting on my wig so that they don't see my rough hair.
All right, that's fine. I told you guys, Abigail is very, very outspoken. So get ready. Abigail is ready to give you her experience, tell you how she was able to do it and how she was able to transition. Okay, so I'm just going to spotlight Abigail very quickly.
But I'm not seeing myself.
Oh, yes, I can see you now, Abigail. I'm going to stop sharing so people can see you.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Abigail. How are you doing today?
I know. I'm good. Thank you. How are you today?
I'm very well. Where are you joining us from, Abigail?
I'm from Saskatchewan, Regina, Canada, but I'll be moving to Edmonton end of the month for my new job.
Brilliant. All right. So Abigail would like to hear your story because, of course, you know, there are so many people here. They want to become business analysts. They've always found it very difficult and think that I must be the most intelligent person on earth to transition or become a business analyst. So tell us about your story. How were you able to make the transition yourself?
Yeah, so coming to, you know, you have this mindset when you come from Nigeria to Canada, you just thought you are landing the six-figure job and then you are going to be rich in the next 2 months, 3 months or more. When I came, there's a different story. I choke. So I was unemployed for some time, like it was depressing in and out. So I thought to myself, like, I used to think like I'm intelligent, but no, Canada told you are not intelligent. Like it is zero. So I've always, you know, I got this certification of business. You know, sometimes you just do something. I always say it even in class, you got it and you don't know what it means. You don't know whatever, you know. So I had it and then the search for job, I was called for interviews and all of that. So possibly, I think I fumbled a lot in the interview. So I was like, what is wrong with me? Like I need to do something. And then a friend saw the advert of Tenalytics and like, do you think this is something he could do? And before he could answer, I'd already paid my money because I know I needed coaching and all of that. So I did the coaching. It was in the coaching that I realized I have entered a one chance since that I don't know anything actually, even though I thought I knew. So it was in the coaching that I was, you know, I was really coached to the extent of there was one thing that is it Adeze or the other guy said, like you could be a carpenter and be a business analyst. You could be a mother and you are a business analyst or a project manager. You could be selling pure water and you are a business analyst. So talk more of somebody that is a professional, like you've worked for 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, maybe 15 years. So you are certainly, you know, a business analyst. So what I did after the lectures and everything, not every day I got the time to go through the lectures, everything changed. My mindset changed, my perception about how to go about answering questions changed. So I'm like, okay, now you need this job so bad. How do you think you are gonna like be able to nail it? Now, before then, I was still doing like my $15 job, $17 job, where somebody that got just 2 years experience, 3 years, will come and show you, you need to do this. You don't know this is, and you're like, oh my God, like I've managed, tons of people in Nigeria. Like I have a lot of subordinates, 15, 20, 5 maybe. And then somebody is telling you don't know how to do things, and it feels like, okay, no problem. It's not your fault. It's Canada that caused it or something like that. So I now told myself, okay, after the lectures and everything, which I'm really appreciative and grateful about, um, I now told myself, the dull you inside your head, how are you going to do all this? Because it seems like a lot of information, a lot of things to deal with all at the same time. So what I did, I picked all the business analyst terms, all the terms. So I made sure I know all the terms of business analyst. I crammed it basically. I crammed the elicitation, I crammed what is the use case, I crammed the communication diagram, I understood what is cost benefit analysis, requirement analysis, business case, quality control gap analysis, process mapping, functional requirement, non-functional requirement, bottlenecks, collaboration, system enhancement, prioritization, traceability requirements, stakeholder collaboration, cross-functional team, all of that. Now, naturally, these are things that we use every day. These are statements that we use in an everyday life. But now it has moved to BA, they have changed the same topic and everything. For once, if you say requirements gathering, it could mean like, okay, give me the document to open an account. But now it has turned to BA, the name has changed to requirements gathering. So what I did to myself is understand the meaning in BA terms, what it means. Okay, requirement gathering, what is gap analysis? Like, this is a problem. What causes the problem? What do I need to do? And all that. So like I learned these terms that when you wake me up, you tell me what it is, I know what it means. So after that, after I did that, when I go to interview, I made conscious effort not to call customer when I need to say stakeholder, so that you would think in your head that I am a professional, even though my head is still dull somehow. So that is what I did. I crammed the terms, which can help some of us, because now, like they explained, it just feels like a lot of information, like, oh my God, all the big terms. But when am I going to learn all these things? Like, when am I going to understand what is functional requirement again? What is it is very simple functional requirement. It is like, like it is as simple as ABC. So what I would tell you guys, to get it faster for you guys, is to understand these terms and start using it in your like daily day life, so that when you go to interview, it just comes naturally. When I had the last interview, it just feels like I felt like I did a lot of rubbish. I like, please just send me my sorry mail. I'm already used to the sorry mail. And then I was surprised. It just like about a week or two, and I got like a reference check, and I sent to some of my friends. I like, oh, I think you got the job. I like, no, I can't get this job because I mean it's big. Like, why should you? I'm a care worker. Why should you give me a supervisor, business analyst, supervisor role from being like a care worker? No, like that's not possible. I mean, the gap is like 3 times what I'm making, and like you are giving me so amount in an hour, and it's not the 6 figure yet. So we are getting to the 6 figure, I'm sure, eventually, but is really good enough for a start, as somebody that you've always thought maybe you are not a BA, you don't have idea what it means, you have nothing, and all of that. So now the good thing is I'm going to be reporting to the manager data analyst, and then I also want to join the class of the next session of data analyst, because like you said, like I'm clueless. You said there was a guy about being a BA, but he's clueless about what I think, yeah, he's clueless about being a data analyst. So I think it works hand in hand. So if any of you is here and you think, like, just if you think about it, then trust me, you are a BA. If you just think about it, then you are. No need to like think, oh, I've not done this. All of us have been BAs. That's what they've always told us in analytics. And I'm really glad they did. Like, they push you, that they make you can ask the silliest and the most stupid questions, and then it just feels, I ask stupid questions, trust me, stupid questions that people will feel embarrassed to ask. There was the time they had the interview session, I refused to do because I know I was going to goof. And we laughed so much for about one guy that was saying, they asked him one question, I'm like, what is all of us shall busted into like, it was really funny. And trust me, guys, you need this. You need the coaching, you need the classes, and I think you need to be a BA, because being a BA, I tell myself, is an advanced administration and customer service officer or something like that. So would you rather be paid as a customer service officer, or would you rather be paid as a business analyst? Some people get their first job and it's a six-figure. Some of us have not gotten to six-figure yet, but we will. Just yesterday, I had like 3 interviews yesterday, and you need to see the confidence in me when I was negotiating. At a company told me they are going to pay me $53 per hour, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. I need to pay me $65 per hour. And in my head, I'm like, look at this one. I mean, what are you doing? Like, you are negotiating. So I think when you know what you are doing, you know all these things, it gives you some certain level of confidence, and you know you can go and get it, you know. I mean, it's not a big deal. I have friends that are VA, they push me, they say you can do this. So like I feel like the dumbest person in the world. And then if I'm able to nail this job, then trust me, anybody can. All of you can. Yeah, I mean, I'm dull, but you know, I got it. You guys can, but you need to understand it. You need to know the language. You need to know what it means, and you need to use 10 analytics. I am going to be on the next class for the data analysis, because I don't want to go and be like a mumu. When you say do this, I'm like, huh? What did you say? What does that mean? So I need to be on that class, really. So thank you, guys. Thank you, 10 analysis. Thank you, Ubon. Ubon has been in trouble with me. Oh my God. So thank you for everything. So this is my story. I'm going to move to Edmonton by end of December to start. They actually wanted me to start like a week after the offer, like, no way, you know. So I'm starting by January, and I hope to see all of you guys maybe in my company or something or whatever. So see you guys soon, and don't miss this chance.
Fantastic. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Abigail. I know,
Yeah.
I remember when you ran away from doing the mock interview. Yeah. But one thing I would say, Abigail, really is you always, no question is stupid as far as I'm concerned. And that's simply because for people who ask questions, it shows some level of commitment. It shows that you want to know. And eventually those people go out and they go out there to do amazing stuff. And I'm not surprised that, you got the role eventually. Fantastic, brilliant. Congratulations, Abigail.
Thank you. Thank you
And
so
thank you
much.
for coming to share your story, for taking out time to share your story with us. We deeply
Thank you.
appreciate you. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Bye, Abigail. So you've heard Abigail's story. Okay. And like I said, Abigail would come tell you the way it is. Okay. I remember Abigail vividly. She was always asking questions. Oh, what is this? What is that? And she was always very committed in class. Fantastic. Thank you for coming to share your story. So you've listened to Abigail, and when she mentioned that, we always say anybody can be a business analyst, and you've done it before, but you really don't know. I always give this example of a lady who was a baker. Okay, she came to the UK as a baker. She came to the UK as a baker. She's always owned her own bakery. She's never worked in any organization. All right. So she said, look, I've had X number of experience. How am I going to transition? How am I going to, okay, I'm seeing a message. Okay, how am I going to transition? Would all the years of, owning my bakery, will it go to waste? And I said, no. As a baker, you have done business analysis, all right? You interact with vendors, correct? You interact with different vendors. You interact with your customers. You ask them questions before you go ahead to bake whatever pastry or cakes they want for their weddings. That's stakeholder engagement. Asking the questions to know exactly what they want is elicitation, requirements gathering. That's what you're doing. So what we simply did was look at her CV, tell her areas where she needed to make adjustments. Okay. And this we call tailoring your CV to match the job you're applying to. All right. So you're not going to present yourself as somebody who just started business analysis today. If Abigail had presented herself as somebody who just started business analysis today, should have never gotten the job of a supervisor business analyst. You heard from her yourself. And I think we have one more person. Okay. And then I'll go on to wrap up. I'm looking to end the session today by around 8:30 or 9:30. 9:30. Okay. So let's hear from Ubong. Please confirm who wants to share her story. Is that Isioma? Okay, so Isioma, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. And then please, if you can put on your video so we can see you as well. Are you here, Isioma? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, Isioma. Fantastic. Do you want to put on your camera, your video, so we can see you?
Actually, I'm so sorry, but I would not be able to do that now because I am actually out right now and I'm using my phone. So
all right. That's fine. That's fine, Isioma. So tell us your own story. Tell us your experience with analytics very quickly.
Well, I wouldn't have so much to say right now because maybe I'm not prepared. Ubong did not exactly tell me I was going to say something, but
Okay.
so
Okay, let me help you. Let me help you, Isioma. All right.
okay.
Now, you started the program. When did you join the program? Let's start from there.
The October cohorts. Yeah.
October cohort. Fantastic. So which means you have learned something. Okay. So what
yeah.
did you think? How did you perceive business analysis? Was it something difficult? And what have you been able to learn so far? Is this something you think anybody else can learn? Is this something you feel you have been able to learn a lot just within the short period of joining the program? So let's start from there.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I really learning business analysis or joining analytics has really changed a lot for me. You know, I had this idea of business analysis being really hard, especially because okay, I had kind of been with a business analyst. She's an IT consultant, and when you just hear iterations, requirements, a lot of things, and I'm like, okay. I even had access to the SIBA book, and then I'm looking at it like, okay, there are just a lot of things to do here, and till today I found it hard really reading it. But then joining Analytics, when I started, and we started with learning Excel, SQL, and Power BI. I'm like, okay, am I in the right course? Are you sure we're not doing, are you sure this is not data analysis that I mistakenly entered? But then I must say that was really, at that point, I don't know, I was telling someone that I don't know how you guys do it, but you just know how to put us on our toes. And I'm like, okay, this is an online course, but when I started, I couldn't sleep. I was just on my laptop every time you see me. I would not take a bath, I would not eat because it was so engaging. And really, I've really learned a lot from this. At least I know how to use Power BI very well now. I know how to use SQL. Although I'm still learning, not as much as a data analyst would, but that also gave me the drive, and it made me see the need to go further. Like, okay, learn more about the SQL. Just know it for the sake of knowing it, and also, it has my mindset has changed. So I'm still applying to jobs, but it has changed really. Before I would be looking for just any job that is just I can just get. But now, especially hearing people talk, and anybody that has heard if a man talk will just we just think that they can, in fact, they can be the business analyst for the White House, or because if a man makes you know that you can do a lot of things, like as a business analyst, everything is possible with you. So it just makes us know that we should just continuously learn. And I'm really grateful for this experience. And I hope everything I've said has helped someone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Isioma, I think because you didn't even know what to say at the beginning. You said it exactly the way it is. And like you said, I mean, you have a very engaging session. You have to walk and come up with your assignments, your projects. You come to make presentations and so on and so forth. And something you talked about, Ephemera will drive you and ensure that, look, you can do this, apply to the job. Don't get scared. Don't go into that room during an interview and you are scared to sell yourself. They just want to see you sell yourself, and that's it. So thank you very much, Isioma, for joining. I know you joined in October, November, December. This is your second month, thereabout, and I'm sure you are on to absolutely greater things ahead. Thank you for coming to share your story today. I'm sure.
I look forward to sharing my job story with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I look forward to it too, Isioma. I look forward to it. Thank you very much for taking our time. All right. Okay. So you've heard Isioma, you've heard Abigail, you've heard their story. And, these are people who, like Isioma said, she didn't know how to use Power BI and all those data analytic tools. And she had to ask herself that, look, am I in the right place learning data analytics? Because I registered for a business analysis program, and that's what we always say. You don't, as a business analyst, a modern business analyst, you must have a flair. All right. You're not going to learn data analytics the way a data analyst would learn, which is very in-depth. But at least if you are giving Excel, you won't get confused. If you are giving Power BI, you know how to, weave your way around, and even SQL and so on. All right. So I'm just quickly going to share my screen and then we'll go ahead to wrap up our session for today. And it always seems impossible when you start. Can I do this? Okay. Can I do this? Is it possible for me to get a job? I'm not sure I'm very brilliant. I'm not sure I'm very intelligent. I don't think I can get ahead until you start to see other people succeeding and getting to that level. You heard Abigail. Abigail started. Abigail has a job today. She's changing locations from Saskatchewan to Edmonton in Alberta. She's gotten a job as a business analyst. And there are so many other success stories. I'm not going to bore you with all of them, but we'll give you the slides and you'd have the opportunity to listen to these people. Okay, hear their story, how they were able to transition across the globe. But why should you train with us? And that's one of the reasons why you should train with us. In the year 2023 alone, we've been able to help over 850 people to transition into different roles, getting their first jobs in the tech ecosystem across different job roles, from data analysts to business analysts to data engineers to financial analysts and so on and so forth. All right. Now, one of the things that we put in place to ensure that we get this done and what has made us so successful is an up-to-date curriculum. And like I said, we keep on improving. Okay, so just like business analysts, you keep on what? Improving. So the curriculum that helped Abigail get her job has even improved going into January 2024. And what is the improvement? We've included another 1 month of web application development. All right. You are not going to develop the web yourself, but you'd manage the project. You'd work with Scrum Masters, you'd work with the web developers and all of that. So you get to see how an application, a real web app, get it built. You come up with the features, the functions, the functional requirements, the non-functional requirements. You're going to interact with different stakeholders on that project to get it done. All right. Industry experts to help you make the transition. You heard Isioma talk about Ephemera, myself. You heard Abigail talk about the interview, the mock interview session. Okay, so the mock interview session is a session where Abigail, for example, who at that time was still undergoing the business analysis program, we will have a mock interview where we'd ask Abigail questions as if we were going to recruit Abigail, and she answers the questions and we give feedback. People run away from doing it. Abigail ran away from doing the mock, but you get to benefit eventually by listening to other people during the session and listening to the feedback that we give to them, and you learn from that, and it improves your interview experience. Okay, blended learning approach that accommodates everybody. Sessions on Saturdays and Sundays during the weekend, not during the week where you have work activities and so on and so forth. And all your sessions are recorded. Okay, so if you have a class on Saturday, for example, you miss that class, the recording is available for you. All right, you miss a class on Sunday, the recording is available. Although we don't advise you to miss classes because you lose that interaction with your trainer, but the recordings are available. So you can go back to see what happened in class, what questions were asked. Okay, how did the facilitator answer the question and so on. Additional employability services. I'll talk about this. So when you hear us talk about mentorship session, interview mock sessions, and all of those things, these are the additional employability services that goes beyond you just learning the technical skill, but also learning the skills that would enable you get the job. Internship designed to simulate the real world of work. And I've talked about that extensively. All of this eventually gets you into an industry-ready business analyst. You heard Abigail yourself. You heard her story. She's got a job and she's going to get doing it. Now, one of the things we are doing this year is bringing people like Abigail back into the Tenalytics fold. People that have gotten jobs, Ramat, Abigail, Tammy, Omolola, so many people that have gotten jobs as business analysts across the globe. So if you're in Canada, for example, you're in the UK, you're in the US, we're going to bring back these people and they will serve as mentors to you. So maybe once in a week, you get to meet with them, you get to have conversations with them, and they guide you and suggest what you should do. Because it's easier for you to relate and also understand somebody like Abigail who started just like the way you're about to start, and then work with you to ensure that you're able to achieve the same objective of transitioning and getting a job. So it's a lot easier than just listening to only Adeza and only FMNA. So that's one thing we are bringing back on board. And that's part of how we position you for success. It's a 3-layered approach. All right. And the first layer is we help you with your CV, because your CV is that thing that gets you into the door. I remember vividly, Abigail had so many questions about her CV. And that's why I say when you see people that ask questions, they have a goal and they have to get to that goal. They don't care. It doesn't matter if the questions are, smart or not smart. I'm going to ask my question anyways. So Abigail had a lot of questions on her CV. Okay, we have CV review sessions. When she's done it, okay, this is what this is. Should it be like this? I have X number of experience in my previous work. How do I change my title? And so on and so forth. So we help with your CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization, okay, Upwork optimization. So you work as a freelancer and so on and so forth. Navigating the job market, having sessions on how to negotiate, how to navigate the job market, where to apply to jobs, and so on. Job and interview preparation. You have an interview. How do you prepare for that interview? Okay. And lastly, references and recommendations. Okay. So organizations would want to know and want to see that you have worked with a reputable organization. So can you provide a reference? Who can serve as a referee for you to get you confirmed into that organization? All right. Now, level 2 is where we have the weekly mentorship sessions. Every Thursday evening, we have the weekly mentorship sessions. And what time on Saturday? I'll get there, Timmy Pre. We have the weekly mentorship sessions, and we also have on-the-job support. You have a job, you've gotten a job. So Abigail today can come back to us anytime. Oh, there's this particular task I've been given. I don't know how to go about it. What do you think I should do? We set up a session with Abigail and work with her to help her address those type of challenges to ensure that she settles down into the role effectively. All right. And the new initiative and one of our major value proposition for you going into the new year is this, which is a level 3. Our promise to you is a guaranteed job interview 1 month after completing your training with us. All right. 1 month after completing your training. So you're in Canada, just like Abigail, you're in the UK, you are in Nigeria, you are in Ghana, you want an interview. All right, we're going to make that happen 1 month after your training with us. Okay, and that's the final level of how we position you for success. How are we doing this? Or how are we going to do this? We are partnering with recruitment agencies across different regions, from Robert Half in Canada to Conferry to Hayes in the UK, and so many other recruitment agencies, so that Tenalytics participants would serve as a pool of talents that they can pull from and funnel into different organizations. Okay, and that's how we are doing it, and that's how we are going to get it done. So I talked about the internship already, 2 months internship this time around, and that's one of the major differences between what we did in 2023 and what we would offer in 2024. Now, who are the people that will train you and ensure that they help you get into your chosen career path? All right, you're going to work with me. You'd see me every week during your mentorship sessions. I'll work with you, ensure that you have things properly sorted out. You can ask questions and so on. And that's how I know Abigail a lot, because Abigail asks a lot of questions, which showed that, look, this is somebody who has a direction. All right. You work with Linda. Linda has over 10 years of experience as a business analyst. She's worked across different industries, and she's an expert when it comes to requirements analysis, business process mapping, and so on and so forth. So you're going to work with Linda to also help you make that transition. You'd work with Shil. Shil works as a product reliability engineer with Visa in the UK, and you'd work with Oluwaseun. Oluwaseun has over 6 years of experience, completed his master's, worked with MTN as a business analyst, currently works with Visa as a product reliability engineer. Now, somebody who sees this job title, product reliability engineer, there is nothing on earth that would make you know that it's a business analysis role. And this is the beauty of how to apply to jobs. It's a business analysis role with Visa, and Oluwaseun is a fantastic facilitator that will work with you. And lastly, we have Olabisi. Olabisi she's a Scrum Master, she's a business analyst at Access Bank, and she's also a project manager. And she's one of the facilitators that would work with you as well. So I talked about some new additions for 2024, extending the internship from 1 month to 2 months. In addition, the Body Mentorships Hub, where we bring people like Abigail, we bring people like Ramat that have gotten jobs, sponsored jobs, they've cracked the code, they've gotten into the job market. We bring them back to serve as bodies and support system for you. All right. So you join the program, you want to ask a question, oh, this particular thing, I want to get, a real-time view on the perspective. Send a message to Abigail, send an email to Abigail, and then you get a response. Or you can set up short meetings. So you have that body that has done that before, and then they get to work with you to also help you do it. The enhanced internship experience, I think I've said this, we are increasing the internship to 2 months instead of 1 month, where as a business analyst, you're going to work on a web application project involving software developers, Scrum Masters, and other key stakeholders. And lastly, we are partnering with recruitment agencies, okay, to help you secure interview slots. And the beauty about interview, you go into an interview, you think you've messed up, but you have the opportunity to get the job because you don't know how you have scored. You don't know how people that came before you performed. So that's why it's always important to get that first foot into the door. Let them hear you out. Go in there and even make the mistake. And you will learn from that experience going into the subsequent interviews. All right. And of course, this is just to depict the web application you're going to build and project manage. And I want you to join our next cohort that starts on the 6th of January. And so many people have asked, what time does the class run? Okay, duration, yes, it's Saturday and Sunday, but what time? So the next cohort starts on the 6th of January, 2024. And it's a 4 months learning journey, like I've said, 2 months project-based classes, 2 months internship, and you have your class Saturdays and Sundays. So depending on where you are, Saturdays, you have two classes, one in the morning, one in the evening, and you select one out of the two, depending on your region. So if you're in Nigeria, you are in the UK, you are in somewhere around Europe with similar time zone, your class is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West Africa time, and you join this class. All right. If you're like somebody like, if you are in Canada, like Abigail, and you have a different time zone, it's difficult for you to join a class that starts at 11. So you join the evening class from 4 p.m. to 7 on Saturday evening. If you're in the US, you are in North America, you are in Canada, you get to join this class. All right, so that's your class for Sunday. It's either you join the morning or you join the evening, depending on your region. And you can join any that suits your own schedule. All right. And on Sundays, you have 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. All right. If you are in somewhere around the UK, Nigeria, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and the evening, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. If you're in the US, Canada, and so on and so forth. So you have a flexible way of learning. All right. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday, or 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday and 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday. So that's the timing of the different classes. So how much does it cost? What investment do you need to make to be a part of this program? And we have a discount. Remember, I said that at the beginning, that we have a discount for the first 20 people that we're registering from this masterclass. So we have a whopping discount of $150 instead of paying the full amount of $750 for the program. You get to pay only $600. So you have a discount of $150. And you also have the opportunity to make the payment in 2 installments of $450 and $150. So you don't have to make the full payment at once. You can break the payment into 2 installments. All right. And if you are paying in pounds, the original fee is $625, but the first 20 to register from this particular session gets £125 discount and get to pay just $500 instead of $625. And your first payment is $375, and second payment, which comes in 1 month after the program starts, is £125. All right. And if you're paying in Naira, you can also pay 720, which is a discounted amount, 540 to get into the class, to get registered, and 180 1 month after the program commences. All right. So this is what it takes to be a part of our program. And people always ask this question: oh, I need to pay $450 to get into class that starts on the 6th of January. I want to take advantage of the discount. I want to be one of the first 20 people to register. What if I don't have all the 450? Can anything be done? Can I still benefit from the discount of the first 20? Absolutely. What I always advise is this: the class starts on the 6th of January. To secure your discounted slot, you can make an initial payment, for example, $250, and you get to pay the balance of what? $200 before the program commences on the 6th of January. Okay, so you can also break down the payments in that regard. And I'll show you how do you make payments. I'm going to show you how to do that using the link below. Okay, and I can see the chart is a bit very busy. I will take questions as we go on. Okay, I'll take questions as we go on. For EST timing, the 4 p.m. on Saturday will be the best for you. Okay, somebody's answering the question. So all you need to do, you want to make payments. My colleagues would share the link in the chat. All right. And you'd also get my slides, so you have the opportunity to also look through the slide and you have access to the link. So if I click on this link, the main Stack link, it takes me into the page, the enrollment page, where I get to make payments. All right. And from the enrollment page, I can get access to the brochure, so you can see the nitty-gritty of what you're going to learn. Okay. Now let's assume I want to make payments for the business analysis program. I simply just come, and maybe I'm in the UK or I'm in Canada or I'm in the US, and I want to make payments. So non-Naira payments would be, you come here, you see the different programs for data analytics, for business analysis, for full stack data science. They're the same amount. So all you have to do, if you want to make the full payment, you click on full payment and it takes you into the main stack page. And then you can go ahead and make payments. So I'm just going to wait for it to load and I'll show you how you can easily access that. All right. So you'd see that here. Okay. So you'd see the fee and all you need to do is click on reserve a seat. Click on reserve a seat. So this is for the full payment. All right. And it also shows you based on your location. Depending on where you are, you'd see the currency based on your location. All right. Now let's assume I want to make a part payment. Okay. I go back to that link and I click on what? First part payment for an initial payment to join the program. So here I'm assuming that, look, I want to make a payment, either the first installment, or I want to make a lower payment to secure my discount. I don't want the discount to go beyond, because I'll tell you, one of the things that happen is people would say, come back later to say, oh, Adaiza, I want the discount is gone. How can you help me? All right. So there's a minimum amount you can pay, which is £210. Okay. And it's showing me pounds because I believe it's still reading my location in the UK. All right. So if you're in somewhere different, in a different country, you'd see either the dollars or you'd see a different currency based on that conversion. So let's assume I want to secure my discount today by paying just a little bit over £210. So let's say I want to pay the minimum, the barest minimum, which is 210. I just type that in and I click on reserve a seat. Okay, I enter my email, enter my full name, enter my phone number. Okay, so let me enter my name, enter my phone number. Okay, so let me just put something there. All right, and I click on proceed, enter my card details, and eventually I get to make payments. All right, and as soon as I make payments, you receive a receipt. So if I also want to make payments in Naira, I can do that. And you see the Naira payments which we collect using Paystack. So I click on the link for the Naira payment and I would see the business analysis program. And all I have to do is click on business analysis. Scroll down, you can choose the first payment, full payment, or part payment. All right. So if I choose part payment, for example, I can make the part payment, or I choose full payment and I can make the full payment for the program. Click on add to bag, go to checkout, and then you can make a payment for the program. Now, once you've made payments, you're going to receive an automated receipt in your email. Okay. Or for some people who want to pay in Naira, but perhaps you want to break the payments in multiple installments. For example, I want to pay 300 today and I'll pay 240 before the program starts on the 6th of January. You can do a direct transfer using the Fidelity Bank account. So either you receive the automated email if you pay through Paystack, or you take a screenshot of your payments once you have sent a direct transfer to our Fidelity Bank account. Or if you are paying in pounds, you can pay into our UK bank account. Take a screenshot and go to where you have upload your receipts. Click on that link and you'd see you enter your details and upload your receipts. And just before I start taking questions and we wrap up for today, one thing you can also do, you have the opportunity to defer into the next month. So the program starts on the 6th of January. I don't want to start in January because I have a couple of commitments already set out for January. You can start in February. So you can defer and start in February. Okay. And that's also an option available. And once you are filling this form, you'd see that option to select to either start on the 6th of January or start on the 3rd of February. Okay. The amazing thing is once you make payment today, you secure the discount. Some people have made payments since November. All right. They made payment for the January cohort since November. So they had secured their discounts a long time ago. All right. So you have that opportunity for the first 20 people. All right. for the first 20 people. So I'm going to take question before we call it a day. So I'll scroll through the chat first of all, but if you have questions, please use the raised hand icon and then would ask you to go ahead and speak. Okay, Ubong is saying awareness wants to speak. Well, awareness is in November cohort, absolutely. All right, so awareness still here? Well, you had your hand up a long time ago. Awareness, please go ahead and unmute yourself. I apologize, I didn't see your hand. Can you put on your video too? Yes,
Good
please.
evening.
Good evening, awareness. How are you doing today?
Fine. I think my hand has been paining me for a while now.
Oh my goodness, sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right, awareness, go ahead, please. So awareness joined us in November. Okay, so awareness has about, I would say, less than a month or just about a month experience with us. Okay, so awareness, please go ahead and share your experience. I'm sure a lot of people want to hear from you. Okay, so go ahead. We can't see you anymore. Do you have your video off?
Yeah. Can you see me?
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So it has been an amazing journey with analytics. You know, if you are listening to this session, you will feel the same way I was feeling the first day. The first day, I just feel like, they are just talking. By the time you go inside the class, you don't understand what they are doing. They just want to take our money and stuff like that. But whatever you are hearing today is actually real. I joined in November, and we actually started by November, I think November 5th to be precise.
Yep.
And the wonderful thing is, if you're thinking, how easy is it for you to switch for whatever niche you are in to tech? Yeah, it looks scary and it looks difficult if you're looking at it. But one thing with analytics is that the person that will put you through make the thing feel so easy. Like, I just want to start from a SOSA. If you are starting from a SOSA, my brother, if you are hearing about Excel, you are hearing about Power BI and SQL, you will start doing those things yourself. Before you finish the class, you'll be asking them, where can I get data so that I can start practicing all these things myself? So it's really an amazing journey so far. Outside the analytics parts, which you have to deal with the Excel, you have to deal with the Power BI, you have to deal with the SQL. When you get to the business analysis proper, the theoretical part of it, that is amazing. Oluwaseun has been doing such a wonderful job that as I'm sitting here right now, I've not finished. I started in November, but I can boast that if you give me a business case, I will develop it without blinking. Like, I've actually just told myself that just calm down, give yourself time. From January, I will be in the market. And definitely, I know sometime I'll still come back here to still give you more stories, more wonderful success stories. So I'll urge you, it's not like I'm doing advert for Analytics. I'm actually telling you what is real. If you want to join the tech industry, Analytics is actually a perfect organization for you. You know, when we say about this thing, we don't remember the mentorship class. The mentorship class, some session, after being in some session, especially the session where we have to do about how you have to answer in job interviews, we have to use the star and the seat techniques. After that, you know that the interviews will be even you are doing before in your own industry that you are messing up already. Because it's a life scenario that you're seeing. You are not actually seeing something that is not like fiction. They are not just bringing it out of the blues. As you are going with the class, as you're going on with the mentorship session, you are seeing that this is a day-to-day activity that you yourself will pass through. It's not just they are saying it. They are not just saying it. It's what you as a person will have to pass through to achieve it. Business analysis, I was thinking, is one very huge thing. But it's not really for so far that I've gone, it's not really, I've not seen it as one very huge thing. I can see myself getting that 6 figure. I'm dead sure of getting that 6-figure. I'm not even flinching when it comes to that. So I'll urge you to join them. But one thing is there. We are saying it like this, but you need to work. You need to put effort. You need to work on your own. Aside this Saturday and Sunday classes, and probably the assignments that you do maybe during Wednesdays and the mentorship class, on your own, you have to go through whatever that has been taught. You have to dig deep for you to, at least, we are not professionals, yes, but we want to be relevant. At least when they say business analysts come out, at least you can say one or two things that somebody will say, wow, I think he knows what he's doing. So I don't want to say much. I don't want it to look like an advert, but I'm only saying how I feel at the moment, and it's very great. It's so wonderful. Ubong, we are doing a very great job. Everybody at Analytics, I really appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Awareness. Thank God I didn't miss you. I didn't see your hand because I was just focused on completing my slides. I was looking at the time as well, so I missed out on you raising your hand. So
I almost dropped the hand because the hand was telling me.
So I'm glad you came to share your story. And there's something you said I just want to re-echo. All right. Abigail mentioned it as well, which is it is not going to happen by magic. Okay. You would have to put in the effort as well. Okay. So you'd have people to work with you, you'd have trainers, you'd have your facilitators, and they're going to teach you stuff. But then you'd have assignments, you'd have projects. And Abigail mentioned something very, very important. She had a note. I'm a fan of having the notes. I use my notes and my pen a lot because I believe anything I write, it sticks. Okay.
Yeah.
So she wrote down those terms, the BA terminologies, and studied them and ensured that she knew everything. Okay. So that when she went into any interviewing room, she could, start to mention those things, ensure that she doesn't say customer instead of stakeholder, like she rightly said. And I mean, having somebody like Abigail as a role model, so to speak. Abigail has completed, she's gotten a job. I joined in November, Awareness joined in November, and I love the confidence. The 6 figures is just right for the catch. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you, Awareness, very soon when you've also made that jump and made the leap. So thank you very much for taking our time. Where are you joining us from, Awareness?
Nigeria.
From Nigeria. Fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you for joining us, Awareness. Good to have you share your story today. All right. So that's Awareness story. So I'm just going to take questions very quickly, maybe for the next 5 to 8 minutes, so we can wrap up at exactly, so that's 10 p.m. Okay. So I have my laptop still having the UK time. I have my phone having the Nigeria time. So I keep on mixing it up, but I think it's 10 p.m. So I will take questions and wrap up at 10 p.m. Okay. So let me see I've seen questions in the chat. This opportunity I've been searching for, but to raise this amount now with Nigeria economy so difficult, please could you review? Unfortunately, we can't review the price, Gabriela. All right. So part of the reason is simple. The value proposition is amazing and there is a guarantee. All right. The guarantee is simple. The guarantee is you're going to get an interview. Okay. You're going to get an interview. And that's so important because the moment you have that first interview, 2 things happen. You start to see that I made a mistake and I can learn from that mistake and do better in subsequent interviews, or you get the job. Okay. So the value proposition is amazing. All right. You're going to work with professionals. You're going to work for 2 months working on a project, building applications and so on and so forth. All right. ZA is also part of the program, and I can see ZA's comments coming saying that agree with Awareness. Shehu and Ise are hot and loaded. Shehu is on the slide. For those who are wondering who Shehu is, I'm just quickly going to go to Shehu. This is Shehu Oluwaseun Fagule, fantastic professional, works with Visa as a product reliability engineer. So that's going to be one of your facilitators for the program as well. All right, let me take more questions before we start We have more testimonials, guys, all right? Remember, the discount is for 20 people. I'm not going to bore you with more testimonials, but what I want you to do is take out time and listen to these people. Listen to their stories. Just like Awareness, Isioma, Abigail that came to speak today. Listen to their story, and I can bet you, if you listen to Ramat, after listening to Abigail today, listen to Ramat, listen to Temi, who was a lawyer, or who is a lawyer rather, and also turned business analyst. Listen to Ikmat, listen to all the amazing, listen to Cynthia Coinsola, listen to Rafiat, who works with the post office as a business analyst in the UK. Let me tell you something very interesting about Rafiat. Efemena, the co-founder of Tenalytics, worked with the post office as their business transformation lead. All right. And one day somebody just sent him a message on Teams that, hi, Efemena, and he was shocked that who knows me in the post office, right? Interestingly, it was Rafiat. So a Tenalytics participant that we had trained had gotten a job with the post office, and Efemena was also working in the post office as the business transformation lead. And that was, I mean, there's no level of satisfaction that we are on the right track and we are making an impact. When things like this start to happen, I start to see people that look like me. I start to see people from the same region holding key positions within the tech ecosystem, tech-related roles, and doing well in those roles as well. Okay. All right. Let's take questions now. Onyedikachi, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. I think I can see Onyedikachi. Your hand is up. Please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay. Hi, good evening, sir.
Hello, Onyedikachi. Go ahead, please.
I trust you're doing good. Okay, thank you very much for giving me the platform and the opportunity to ask questions. It's pertaining to some of us who booked our spaces or our slots for the January cohort as far back as November.
Okay.
Agbomi, the price increments where they see they shake body. So I'm not gonna lie give you. So what is our fee? What is our
Have you
fee?
paid already? Did you pay in November?
Yes.
If you've paid already, there's no addition for you at all, Onyedikachi. You're not paying anything.
No,
Yeah.
what I didn't pay in full. But I paid up to, is it 75 or 80%?
You don't have a problem, Onyedikachi. All right.
Wow.
You paid 75, 80% in November.
Yes.
So yeah, you don't have a problem. You're not paying anything extra. All right. So that's the advantage for those who paid around that time. Okay, so that's the advantage. We're not going to come back to you to say you need to pay this amount because we had no, we're not going to do that. All right.
Wow.
So you're good. Don't worry.
When Elijah was telling me that there's going to be an increment, I just thought he was playing. But coming here now to see, but I thank God I made use of the time when I had it. I'm
Absolutely.
I'm really happy. Yeah,
Okay.
that's just what I want. That was the clarification I wanted, please.
Okay, I'm sure you go to sleep with rest of mind at least.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Oh, thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Onyedikachi. You're welcome. So for those that paid, and I think we made the announcement, if I remember clearly, that we were going to review the prices. We're going to change the prices, and that was simply because of the new additions we were bringing to the program, more value. And for us, it's always about ensuring that by the time you are done, the only reason you will not get a job is because you probably just want to learn it for your own knowledge, or you just want to learn it to get a promotion in the office. But if you join us because you want to get a job, everything we'll do will ensure that we get that done to ensure that you get a job at the end of the day. Okay. So for those that make payments, even if you haven't made your complete payments, you're going to pay the fee at that time that you made payments, except you didn't make any payments in November, but you just said, oh, book a slot for me. But once you've made payment to commit yourself, we're not going to take anything extra based on the new fee. Okay. All right. Thanks for that question, Oyedikachi. So I'm going to take questions from the chat. ABB is saying, I'm already considering joining business analysis, but in another mind, I'm asking if I will be as confident dealing with data as someone. No, totally. It's totally different. Oyedikachi, not Oyedikachi, sorry, ABB. The amount or the level of your understanding of Excel compared to a data analyst, you'd have a gap. Okay, so business analysis is not a data analytics role. It's just good for you as a business analyst to have that skill as a data analyst, to at least know how to use Excel. You know how to use the pivot table. You know, you can build dashboards in Excel. All right, you can summarize data. You can build dashboards in Power BI. You can interact with databases. If you do select star from a particular table, you know what it's going to get you. Okay, so you have that understanding of Excel, Power BI, and SQL, but not as the data analyst. It can't be as the data analyst, because the data analyst would learn those things in more details. Okay. Let me see more questions. Is that card or USD? Is USDT? USD, not card, USD. So if you're paying in Canadian dollars, for example, like I said, you would see you can pay in, if you click on the link, depending on your location, it should give you the conversion. But if it doesn't, you'd see the US dollar equivalent. Okay, let me see more questions. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, Omonity, I sent you some messages on WhatsApp. All right, Omonity, I'll check. Of course, Omonity is also a Analytics alumnus. Okay, I'll check your message. All right, I'm not sure we have. Oh, what's the difference between data analytics and data and business analysis? I'm not sure that question has been answered. So a data analyst, simply, let me just put it very simply. A data analyst role, your core responsibility is to help the company understand the data that they have. They generate data from customers, from transactions. You, as an analyst, will then use Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, every tool you would learn as a data analyst to take that data, analyze the data, and generate insights that would help the company understand what is happening so that they can take decisions. Okay. As a business analyst, we've talked about what the business analysts would do. You are there as a change agent. You are there as a change enabler. You are there to help optimize processes. All right. Your core responsibility is not to manage the data, analyze the data, and do all of those things. That's the simplest way possible you can explain. So the data analysts, in terms of the use of Excel, Power BI, SQL, Tableau, they are very deep in understanding. They have good depth in understanding. They are more technical using those tools. The business analyst focuses on different other tools like Jira, Trello, Confluence, Visio, Lucidchart, Draw.io, and so on and so forth. And people always ask me the question, can I, as a data analyst, become a business analyst, or as a business analyst, become a data analyst? Yes, you can. But can I do that can I become a business analyst with a data analytics knowledge and skills? The answer is no. As a data analyst, you want to become a business analyst, you must learn the skills. As a business analyst, you want to become a data analyst, you must learn the skills of a data analyst. All right? And that's the way it works. Business intelligence analyst is closer to data analytics than business analyst. So business intelligence is simply you creating insights that are automated. All right. So you have a data warehouse or a database where data is kept. Okay. And you have Power BI that helps you analyze that data. Rather than going into the warehouse, so imagine a real life warehouse. You have workers that work for you. They go into the warehouse, they pick up a package, they come out of the warehouse and drop it in your shop. Okay, that's one way. Another way is you have a conveyor belt in the warehouse, and all you have to do is press a button, and that conveyor belt would pick up a package and convey it to your store. One is manual, going to the store, picking up the package, dropping it in the shop. That's a manual process. The automated process is creating a conveyor belt, whereby if you just click on a button, it picks up the package, conveys it, and drops in the store. A business intelligence analyst is that conveyor belt. You are going to connect Power BI or any other analytic tool to that warehouse that has your data. So you can always feed in data into your Power BI for analysis. So if today the time is 10:05 p.m., I want to see what is going on in the business, I can see the real-time insights. Today at 10:05, we have sold X number of products. We have X number, X revenue, X profits, and so on, because my data is always fed from the warehouse into my Power BI. So that's what business intelligence really is all about. How you extract your data from the warehouse, transform it, load it into your BI tool like Power BI, analyze that data in a way that it is fully automated. Okay. So in that regard, if you look at it, it is closer to a data analyst role than a business analyst role. A business analyst has no business doing what a business intelligence analyst does. Okay, I hope that shed a little bit of light into your question. Is Lydia one of your customer rep? Yes. So you'd see Lydia, you'd see Treasure. Ubong is the coordinator for the business analysis program. Okay. All right. Before we call it a day today, guys, please ensure that you follow us across all our platforms. All right. And one thing I'll just show you very quickly before we wrap up today is what the classroom looks like. So what classroom did Abigail join? All right. It's good for you to see, oh, how did Abigail learn? What class did she join? What's the classroom like? I almost forgot to show you guys, but I'm going to show you in the next 2 minutes, and then we call it a day. All right. So once you join, you register for a program, you join one of the classrooms, and I'll take you to a classroom. Abigail joined, I can't remember when exactly now, but I'll just go to maybe awareness. Awareness came to speak as well. So I'll go to awareness class. So once you join a program, you get to see the class you have joined. Awareness is in the business analysis November cohorts. Okay. So that's business analysis November. So you can see we have the EU. That's for the regions in Nigeria, Europe, UK with similar time zones. And you have the NA, North America, and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'm going to click on the EU. So let's see what awareness is doing in class. All right. So I click on classwork. Okay. I click on classwork. So you have attendance and feedback. You have interview prep / clarity sessions. So you have an interview. You want to book in a slot for your interview. All you need to do is come here, click on the link. You can either speak with Shay. You can either speak with Shay, speak with Isosa for your interview to help you prepare for interviews. But I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. So you'd see what the class looks like. All right. So when you join, you have the welcome to the BA onboarding welcome kit that contains the links for you to download and install all the tools you need and so on and so forth. All right. But let's see the first class, Excel class 1, class material. Your classes are case study based. So this particular class in Excel, you get to work on a case study solving this problem for this particular organization. So let's just wait for it to load. So it's for Glow Gadgets, all right? It's a case study for Glow Gadgets. And you are meant to do what? Do a little bit of analysis for them, answering these 7 questions. They want you to apply your understanding of Excel And at the end of this, you're going to build a dashboard. Okay, so when you ask the question, oh, will I have data analytics skills? Absolutely. You'll be comfortable handling data in Excel, using the pivot table to summarize, using the pivot charts, creating a dashboard, and you work on case studies like this. All right, so this is Excel class 1. And in case you missed the class, you have recording. The class is recorded, so you don't miss anything eventually. All right, so you see that for Excel class 2, and then you have presentations. Now, if you're somebody who is shy to speak and communicate, this is where you start to break that mold, come out of your shell, and get more confident presenting, okay? Because you're going to solve problems, solve case studies, and present. You present your findings to everybody in class, okay? So this is your case study presentation. You have your Power BI, and if I scroll all the way, you see your SQL classes, your mentorship session, CV review session, SQL class 1, SQL class 2, SQL case study. And you see your BA class 1, introduction to business analysis, project initiation, and so all the things we talked about today, the RACI matrix, the business case. You heard when Awareness said if he's given a business case today, he would dissect it left and right and so on and so forth, okay? So this is what the class looks like, step by step, until you become a business analyst and you can apply to get a job. Last thing I would implore you to do, okay? Go to our YouTube channel. I'm just going to go back here, show you. So just go to YouTube, all right? YouTube.com, go to your YouTube and search for Tenalytics. Okay, we have amazing content you'd love to watch. Okay, go to Tenalytics, hit enter, navigate your way to the Tenalytics YouTube page. Click on Tenalytics so you can see all the videos we have for you. We had a session yesterday. How easy or hard is it to switch to data analytics? Okay. FMN also held a session on building your first web scraping pipeline using Python and SQL. And we've had so many sessions, but I want you to come to the testimonials. There are so many people I did not speak about today, but I would love you to hear their story. I want you to listen to the story of this lady where she talked about how Tenalytics helped her to land her first tech job. Also, this fantastic lady, how she was able to secure a job in less than a month when she joined us, all right? Listen to Michael, who is a data engineer. I recently just concluded Michael's reference about 2 weeks ago. It was a video interview, more like an interview. The company was interviewing me to provide a reference for Michael. Listen to Michael, how his mentorship helped him get a job. Listen to Idris and all the amazing, fantastic people that shared their stories here. All right. And you get to see amazing stuff. So follow us across all our different social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, and would love to engage and have an amazing time with you. All right. We're going to have sessions like this until the end of the year, or at least until Christmas comes. Okay. So ensure that you follow us and be a part of the amazing stuff we have for you. Okay, have an amazing, amazing evening. And for everybody that has joined us up until this moment, thank you very much for being a part of your Friday evening. Have an amazing weekend ahead. We are just a message away. We are just a call away. Send us a message. Call us. We're very happy. Send us a message on WhatsApp. We'll be very, very happy to engage with you. All right? Omoniti, I'll check your message on WhatsApp. Okay, for those who are asking the phone number, so you have the phone number here. Okay, you can reach out to us on any of these numbers or send us an email to enquiries@tenalytics.io, or just send us a WhatsApp message to any of these numbers, and one of our customer success associates would respond to you. You can take a screenshot of this so that you don't lose or miss out any number. All right. Have a fantastic time, guys. And thank you for joining us today. Remember, we have 20 slots available for the discount. Thank you very much, guys. Have an amazing weekend. And I hope to see you on the 6th of January or in another session we'll be having shortly. Okay. Cheers, guys, and have an amazing weekend. Bye, everyone.